Good morning. I'm Pauline Berzosa, sitting in for Gretchen Ho. It is Tuesday, the 22nd of July, and we're bringing you Morning Matters because your mornings matter. Now let's get to the stories that matter today. Southwest monsoon rains or Habagat caused widespread flooding across the country. Meanwhile, two low-pressure areas are currently being monitored by PAGASA within the Philippine Area of Responsibility. Meralco reported that as of Monday, July 21, around 11,000 customers were affected by power outages due to heavy rains brought by the southwest monsoon. They are now working to speed up electricity restoration, particularly in areas where floodwaters have started to recede. And nationwide relief efforts are now being ramped up by the DSWD. We'll be getting updates from them later on in the program. Welcome to Morning Matters, where we talk about the issues you need to know for the rest of your day. Now, first on the agenda, PAGASA is monitoring two low-pressure areas within the Philippine territory. The first one was last spotted some 1,140 kilometers east of Central Luzon, while the other at 370 kilometers east of Calayan, Cagayan. The LPA near Central Luzon is likely to develop into a tropical depression in the next 24 hours. Meanwhile, monsoon rains will continue over Metro Manila, Calabarzon, Zambales, Bataan, Pampanga, Bulacan, and Occidental Mindoro. And the Habagat will also trigger occasional rains over Pangasinan, Benguet, Tarlac, Marinduque, and Oriental Mindoro. The rest of the country may experience either scattered or isolated rains, also due to the southwest monsoon. And now let's get the updates from PAGASA weather forecaster Ana Cloren joins us this morning. Hi Ana, ano na ba ang latest ngayon sa direksyon at intensity ng dalawang LPA na minomonitor ng PAGASA?
Yes po, magandang umaga po. Ma'am Pauline, kasi sa ating mga taga-subaybay. Sa kasalukuyan nga po, yung una LPA natin minomonitor ay nasa 1,140 kilometers silangan ng Central Luzon. At yung pangalawang LPA naman ay nasa area po ng, or nasa layong 370 kilometers silangan naman ng Calayan, Cagayan. So ngayong araw, itong dalawang low pressure area na to ay posible pong mag-merge o magsama into one LPA. So kapag naging isang LPA na lamang po ito, ay mas tataas yung tsansa na mag-isang bagyo ngayong gabi o hanggang bukas po. At itong LPA na posible maging bagyo ay posibleng mag-enhance ng habagat sa buong linggo po na to, kaya po patuloy po natin itong minomonitor dahil nga yung habagat po natin mukhang walang tigil po hanggang sa mga susunod na araw dahil nga ngayon may mga malakas na bugso na mga pag-ulan pa rin po tayo naasahan dito sa Metro Manila, Calabarzon, Zambales, Bataan, Pampanga, Bulacan at Occidental Mindoro. Ganon din po sa may Pangasinan, Benguet, Tarlac, Marinduque at Oriental Mindoro, may mga occasional rains din po tayo naasahan dala ng habagat. At ganoon din po sa may Visayas, the rest of Luzon, Zamboanga Peninsula, pati na rin po sa Bangsamoro, Sorsogon at Davao Region ay maulap pa rin po ang kalangitan ngayong araw at may mga scattered rains at thunderstorms pa rin po na inaasahan. But yung rest of Mindanao naman, gradual improvement of weather na po yung ating inaasahan.
Ana, hanggang kailan ba magtutuloy itong habagat? At tama ba yung sinasabing maaari sila daw magsama yung dalawang LPA sa isang sirkulasyon at yun ang magiging bagyong Dante?
Yes, tama po. At yun po yung senaryo po na nakikita ngayon natin patungkol po sa LPA. At yun nga, hanggang buong week po na ito, inaasahan natin na magiging maulan po dahil sa habagat.
Well, Ana, as of 8 a.m., nagtaas na nga ang PAGASA ng ilang rainfall warning. Aling-aling mga lugar ba ang nasa ilalim ngayon ng red rainfall warning?
Opo, ngayong 8 a.m. po, naka-red warning na po tayo dito sa Metro Manila, Bataan, at yung ilang areas po ng Cavite, particular nasa Bacoor, Dasmariñas, Kawit, Noveleta, Imus, Cavite City, General Trias, saka po sa Rosario ay red warning na. Samantalang orange warning naman po sa Rizal, Laguna, Batangas, Zambales, Pampanga, Bulacan at sa ibang bahagi pa po ng Cavite, at yellow warning po sa Nueva Ecija, Tarlac at sa Quezon.
Ana, para sa mga hindi masyadong pamilyar sa rainfall warning system ng PAGASA, ano ba ibig sabihin ng red warning? Gaano karaming ulan ang ibinubuhos sa ilalim ng warning na yan?
Opo, kapag nandito na po tayo sa red warning, no more than 7 millimeters na po yung mga pag-ulan na inaasahan natin for the next 3 hours or malakas na bugso, heavy, hanggang sa torrential na mga pag-ulan po yung inaasahan natin na kung saan ay serious flooding na po yung ine-expect po natin sa mga areas na under red warning. At ganoon din po kahit orange, no? Ibig sabihin, threatening po tayo dyan sa mga pagbaha.
Ana, dahil nga sa sunod-sunod na pag-ulan, back-to-back days na nga, gano'n na ba ka-saturated yung lupa, yung ground? And does that increase the risk of landslides na rin sa ilang mga lugar?
Yes, tama po kayo, no? At yun nga, last week, umuulan na po tayo dahil kay Krising. At may habagat din po tayo nung last week pa. So, kahit last week, madaming areas na rin po yung binaha. Saturated na rin po, no? And then, dumagdag pa po yung mga pag-ulan ngayon. At for this week, inaasahan natin na magiging maulan pa rin. Kaya po, mas mataas na ho talaga yung tsansa ng mga floodings, pati na rin po ng mga landslides.
Okay, maraming salamat para sa update na yan. That was Pag-asa weather forecaster, Ana Cloren. Meanwhile, the La Mesa Dam in Quezon City and the Wawa Dam in Rizal have exceeded their spilling levels due to continuous rains. La Mesa breached its 80.15-meter threshold, while Wawa Dam spilled past its 135-meter limit. Pag-asa warned that excess water from La Mesa could affect low-lying barangays along the Tulyahan River, including parts of Quezon City, Valenzuela, Caloocan, Malabon, and Navotas. In Rodriguez Rizal, local officials are also closely monitoring conditions around Wawa, whose waters flow directly into the Marikina River. The Department of Social Welfare and Development is now stepping up its relief operations. And joining us this morning is DSWD Assistant Secretary Irene Dumlao. Good morning, ASEC, and welcome to the program.
Hi, Pauline. Magandang umaga.
Okay, ASEC, can you give us the latest tally? How many families and individuals were affected by Typhoon Krising as well as the Habagat?
Well, Pauline, as of 6 a.m. this morning, we've recorded around 481,000 families, or that's an equivalent of more than 1.6 individuals who have been affected by the combined effects of Typhoon Krising and the southwest monsoon. And these families that we have identified to be affected are located in more than 2,600 barangays across the country.
And where are these areas particularly, ASIC, and how is the situation inside evacuation centers?
Yes, the affected families may be located in the National Capital Region. We also have in Ilocos Norte, Ilocos Sur, La Union, and Pangasinan in Region 1. We also have affected families in Cagayan and Nueva Vizcaya in Region 2. And then in Aurora, Bataan, Bulacan, Nueva Ecija, Pampanga, Tarlac, Zambales, and Olongapo City in Region 3. We also have affected families in Batangas, Cavite, Laguna, Quezon, Rizal, in Calabarzon. And in Occidental Mindoro, Palawan, and Puerto Princesa in Mimaropa, Albay, Camarines Norte, Camarines Sur, Catanduanes, and Masbate in Region 5. We also have affected families in Aklan, Antique, Capiz, Iloilo City, Negros Occidental, and Bacolod City in Region 6. In Bohol, Cebu, and Cebu City, Mandaue City in Region 7. In Samar and Southern Leyte in Region 8. And in Zamboanga del Norte, Zamboanga City, Zamboanga Sibugay, and Basilan in Region 9, Camiguin, Lanao del Norte, Iligan City, Misamis Oriental in Region 10, Davao Occidental in Region 11, South Cotabato and Sultan Kudarat in Region 12, and in Agusan del Norte, Dinagat Islands, and Surigao del Norte in Caraga, and in Abra Apayo, Benguet, Baguio City, Ifugao, Kalinga Mountain Province in the Cordillera Administrative Region. Actually, Pauline, kahapon umikot kami ni Secretary Rex Gatchalian. Pumunta kami sa Balagtas, Bulacan, Bukawi, Bulacan, Sasmuan, Pampanga. These are open evacuation centers. And maayos naman po yung kalagayan ng ating mga affected families. Currently, there are more than 14,000 families, or that's an equivalent of more than 49,000 individuals who are taking temporary shelter in 501 evacuation centers nationwide. And this morning, Secretary and I will be going around some evacuation centers here in Payatas, in Marikina, and in Rizal para makita natin kung ano yung mga situation ng ating mga internally displaced persons. But so far, dun sa pag-iikot namin, maayos naman. Merong mga water and sanitation health facilities, safe, and merong safe spaces for the vulnerable sectors, mga evacuation centers. And we will make sure that our camp managers and camp managers are really monitoring the situation po sa mga evacuation centers natin para mai-provide yung pong essential needs ng mga disaster-affected families.
Asik, what are the most immediate needs that you're seeing among evacuees? Are there any shortages when it comes to logistical needs, supplies such as food, water, even hygiene kits?
Well, the essential needs, of course, right now are food and yung mga non-food items kagaya ng mga sleeping kits, kitchen kits, mga laminated sacks and modular tents, yung mga sleeping kits, essential also yan doon sa mga evacuation centers. Because alam naman natin, Pauline, during these periods, marami sa ating mga kababayan wala pong dala na mga kagamitan when they move to the evacuation centers. So ito po yung ipro-provide ng mga local government units at ng national government through the DSWD. And so far, we have extended augmentation support to the local government units and have provided more than 66 million pesos worth of humanitarian assistance. Yan po ay sa pamamagitan ng mga family food packs, ready-to-eat food, gayon din yung mga non-food items.
Asik, what about families and individuals outside evacuation centers? Because naman natin, hindi naman lahat ay willing mag-evacuate. They choose to stay in their homes. They don't want to leave their pets. What kind of assistance is being given to them? And how does the DSWD ensure that this is fairly distributed among them?
Yes, from our monitoring, there are more than 23,000 families, or an equivalent of more than 101 individuals who are affected by the combined effects of Krising and the southwest monsoon, but are taking temporary shelter po sa mga bahay ng kanilang mga relatives o ng kanilang po mga friends. And they are also being assisted by the department. In coordination with the local government units, we are able to determine kung nasaan po sila and pinapaabot namin yung mga family food packs po sa kanila. So, part kasi sila noong minomonitor din ng local government units and of course ng DSWD.
But Asik, are there any ongoing efforts to provide additional assistance, especially to the hardest hit areas, lalo na po sa Region 6, pati sa mga areas o probinsya kagaya ng Cebu, kung saan they were caught off guard, right? When the Habagat hit them, kasi the initial direction was just in northern Luzon, but then they also experienced heavy rains and were affected by Krising and Habagat.
Well, yes, Pauline. Of course, yung po mga nabanggit nun sa Region 6, they've also been assisted by the department. Immediate relief was provided by our field office through family food packs and non-food items. And since nasa response phase pa tayo, Pauline, ito muna yung mga essential goods or essential welfare goods that we are extending. But once we enter the early recovery phase, we will look into other interventions like emergency cash transfers so that we could support the restoration of the normal psychosocial functioning of these affected families.
Well, Pagasa did say that it seems like rains will continue to persist the entire week. So, Asik, for those families who have been displaced for several days now, what is the long-term plan for them, especially for those who won't be able to return to their homes soon?
Yes, as I've mentioned, we're looking at other interventions that we may extend to these disaster-affected families, like emergency cash transfers or cash for work, and assistance to individuals in crisis situation. But we are also working with other government agencies, especially with the DSWD, so that we could also provide shelter assistance for those families whose houses were destroyed by the floods. So these are other assistance that may be extended. But of course, we're working closely with the local government units to assess and determine the appropriate and necessary interventions that may be provided to them. Now, on the part of the DSWD, considering that we are also expecting other typhoons as pronounced by Pagasa, we would like to mention that currently we have more than 2.9 million family food packs strategically prepositioned across the country. The total cost of the standby funds and stockpiles of the DSWD at present is at more than 2.8 billion pesos. And currently, our National Resource Operations Center and highest disaster response center are still producing family food packs so that we could replenish our stockpiles that were released or replenish the stockpiles in all our warehouses because we've released close to 100,000 already.
That's I wanted to ask about the coordination with the LGUs. You did mention you are in close contact with them in order to ensure the fast and unified response across different regions. But are there any challenges on the ground in terms of that?
Well, so far, Pauline, we have not experienced any challenges, major challenges with respect to our ongoing disaster response efforts. What's good about the proactive action of the government, including the local government units, is that well, on the part of the DSWD, we have implemented the Buong Bansa Handa program where we have intensified and improved on our supplies and logistics management. That is why we are able to preposition family food packs up to geographically isolated and disadvantaged areas. We've worked with the local government units so we could use their warehouses through relief prepositioning agreements. In that manner, we have improved our augmentation support mechanisms to local government units because goods are already on the ground. So there was no difficulty in transporting these goods in affected areas, Pauline.
Well, ASEC, the DSWD also reported that it is monitoring stranded individuals in seaports. Do you have updated numbers there? And how is the department supporting them?
Well, yes, because of the partnership that the DSWD has entered into with the Philippine Ports Authority, we're able to preposition ready-to-eat food packs in major and critical ports. In fact, in Region 5 and in Region 8, where there were reported strandees, we were able to extend ready-to-eat food packs. And aside from that, of course, non-food items like sleeping kits. So yun po yung mga napauna natin na i-extend po dito sa mga passengers na stranded sa mga pantalan.
And ASEC, what about families who feel that they haven't received enough aid yet or they might feel overlooked? Where should they run to? Ano nga po ba ang hotline or contact person na pwede nilang tawagan sa DSWD?
Well, of course, yung mga kababayan po natin who are in need of immediate relief and comfort, maaari po sila makipag-ugnayan sa kanilang mga local government units, sa kanilang mga barangay officials. And then, ang DSWD po kasi ay nagpo-provide ng augmentation support sa mga LGUs. So yung mga LGUs ang nagsasubmit ng mga request sa DSWD po para makapaghatid tayo ng mga family food packs and non-food items. Nonetheless, they may communicate with the DSWD directly through our official communication platforms. That's at DSWD Serves sa Facebook. And you may also send a message through our official website. That's www.dswd.gov.ph para po makita natin yung sitwasyon sa lugar po ninyo, ma-validate namin at makapagbigay po tayo ng nararapat na tulong.
And when it comes to donations, ASEC, where can the public contribute, especially to those who want to send their help directly? Where can they do that?
Yes, Pauline, of course, during this period, we appreciate na meron po tayong mga kababayan who have generous hearts. We welcome donations, of course, and you may course it through the Kaagapay portal ng DSWD. You kindly check on our website, www.dswd.gov.ph. There's a link there. It says Kaagapay portal. Diyan po pwede pong pumasok yung mga donations na gusto po niyong ipahatid. Ang kagandahan po ng portal na ito, direct na po ito na mapapaabot doon po sa mga areas that you want to assist. And pwede rin naman po na piliin nyo ang DSWD if there are goods you wish to be included like rice doon po sa ating mga family food packs. Kasi Ms. Pauline, doon po sa ating family food packs, meron po yung 6 kilograms na rice. Sometimes we receive donations ng mga sakong bigas and then rini-repack namin at ini-include po namin dyan sa mga family food packs. So I highly encourage you to visit the Kaagapay donations portal of the DSWD.
And when it comes to those food packs, Asik, kahit yung mga canned goods, parang may nabasa ko, sana naman daw hindi yung pa-expire na o yung mga malapit sa expiration because of course hindi naman maganda yun para sa mga evacuees. But finally, Asik, what's your message also to the public when it comes to verifying trusted channels when they want to send their donations? Because alam naman natin na kapag panahon ng sakuna or calamities, naglilipa na din or fake donation drives circulating online also proliferate.
Yeah, that's correct. But before I address that, Pauline, let me mention that DSWD has the warehouse inventory system na kung saan na-monitor po natin kung ano ang date of manufacturing and date of expiry ng ating mga family food packs. We make sure that 5 months or 3 months prior to the expiry of these goods ay nagagamit na po natin for other social protection activities and projects ng DSWD mga goods, because definitely we will not be sending out expired goods to our disaster affected populations. We make sure that our goods are fit for consumption. So because of the inventory system ng DSWD, we are able to track and monitor yung ating pong mga inventories. And tama po yung nabanggit po ninyo. If you wish to help the department in the entire country, especially those affected by these disasters, kindly visit yung donations or yung Kaagapay donations portal ng DSWD. Huwag po tayo basta-basta na mag-check noong pong mga posts na nakikita natin sa social media. Huwag po natin agad na i-course through yung mga tulong po natin. You have to verify if these are registered and licensed by the DSWD to ensure na legitimate yung donations drive na ginagawa po ng mga grupo na ito. Again, the donations or the Kaagapay donations portal of the DSWD ang sana po gamitin po ng ating mga kababayan.
All right, well, thank you very much for joining us this morning, and do stay safe. That was DSWD Assistant Secretary Irene Dumlao. Thank you, Secretary.
Thank you.
Don't go away. We will be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. Welcome back. I'm Pauline Verzosa, and you're still watching Morning Matters. Torrential rains brought by the southwest monsoon have submerged several areas in different provinces. Here's the report.
Even before dawn, parts of Pangasinan were already flooded on Monday. In areas like this home in Umingan, water was rushing past like a river, fueled by strong currents. Rice fields were not spared from the effects of the heavy rain. Floodwaters also entered many homes in the town of Bugalyon. Some fish were found dead floating in the water.
Ay, mga isda guys, tingnan nyo, kawawa kaya.
In Dagupan City, tricycles struggled to get through the Mayombo-Karanglaan Road submerged in waist-deep water. Most motorists didn't even dare attempt to cross. Even buses could not get through. In Calasiao, the Marusay River reached critical levels due to heavy rainfall. According to the Pangasinan Provincial Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office, more than 19,000 families have been affected by flooding triggered by Krising in the southwest monsoon. In La Trinidad, Benguet, a portion of a mountain collapsed along Balete-Longlong Road after continuous rains. Large boulders came crashing down onto the road. Authorities immediately closed the area to motorists.
As for now, possible siya ng one-way lang. Natapos ang clearing kagabi, mga past 8. So yun lang ang nakayanan ng manpower natin.
In Cannon Road, Baguio, a large boulder struck this dog last Saturday. The nearby parked car was also destroyed. Because of the size of the rock, many thought the dog had died.
Hinanap ko siya. Wala naman siya sa may kulunganan niya. Nakita ko, gumagalaw yung yero na nakadagan sa kanya. Doon pala nakadagan siya. Tahimik lang siya doon.
Another dog not captured on CCTV reportedly died after also being crushed by a boulder. Aside from the animals, a house was also crushed and destroyed by falling rocks. Fortunately, no one from the household was injured. Later that afternoon, another large rock fell in the same area. Residents have since evacuated. As of now, Cannon Road remains closed to motorists.
Well, classes at all levels remain suspended in several areas due to heavy rain forecast. These include Metro Manila, Zambales, Bataan, Pampanga, Bulacan, and Cavite. All levels are also suspended in Batangas, Rizal, Laguna, Pangasinan, Tarlac, and Occidental Mindoro. Meanwhile, in-person classes have been canceled in Candelaria, Quezon. And now let's check on the situation in Taguig. Mobile journalist Arles de los Santos joins us live on the ground. Hi Arles, kamusta na ba ang sitwasyon dyan sa Taguig?
Magandang araw po, Alipulin. No? Nandito nga tayo ngayon sa Taguig City kung saan bunsod pa din ng pabugso-bugsong ulan, dala ng habagat, naulanan pa rin ang buong lungsod dito. Pero at sa ating pag-iikot kanina ay nadadaanan naman ang mga kalye dito. Meron lamang ilang mga maliliit na eskinita na talagang naapektuhan na alam mo yon na medyo naipon ang mga tubig doon. Pero sa konting panahon ay mabilis naman itong nagsisihupa. No? Kanina rin ay pinuntahan natin ang kahabaan ng C6 Road kung saan nga magkakonekta ang Laguna de Bay at ang lungsod ng Taguig. Isa kasi ito sa mga tributaryo ng malawak na katubigan ng Laguna de Bay. Kaya naman mayroong 3 floodgate na dito ay situated sa pag-ilalim ng pangangalaga ng Metropolitan Manila Development Authority o MMDA. Kanina ng atin itong binisita ay patuloy ang pagdating ng mga opisyal ng MMDA para masiguro na talagang nagagampanan ng mga pumping stations na ito ang pagkontrol para maiwasan ang pagbaha na nangyari nga kagaya na lamang noong Bagyong Ondoy na lampas tao mismo ang tubig baha lalo na sa 1st District dito sa Taguig. Pero hindi tayo pinayagang pumasok kaya naman tayo ay patuloy ang pag-monitor dito sa Taguig at ngayon ay passable naman ang lahat ng daan dito. Pauline?
Arles, ano naman yung sitwasyon pagdating naman sa mga floodgates sa Taguig?
Actually, Pauline, fully operational naman ito. Ang ilan nga lang sa mga nagiging hamon dito ay yung mga kumpol na mga water lilies na kapag umuulan talagang nagpapahirap nga sa pagpopa ng tubig dahil ito actually, Pauline, ay medyo matitigas na Parang medyo nagiging isla ang formation ng mga water lily na ito. Kaya naman may mga pagkakataon na talagang kailangang may mga pagkakataong bumabara ito mismo doon sa ating mga pumping station. Pero nevertheless, Pauline, ay fully operational ang 3 floodgates at namimitigate naman ang pagdaloy ng tubig dito sa Kalakhang Taguig.
Arles, kwentuhan mo kami, ano ba yung nangyari overnight sa Taguig because nga buong gabi patuloy yung buhos ng ulan. In fact, until now, Metro Manila is still under red warning pagdating sa rainfall alert system ng Pag-asa.
Actually, Pauline, nung natapos ang ating pag-iikot kagabi sa iba't ibang mga lungsod ng Maynila at kaninang umaga ay talagang makita natin kagabi na nag-ipon-ipon ang ilang mga katubigan dito sa Taguig dahil sa patuloy na pag-ulan nga dala ng habagat. Pero so far, kakaunti ang mga area na naapektuhan nito pero itong mga kalapit doon sa mga pumping station kasi may mga creek na malalapit doon, agaran ng inilikas ng lungsod ang mga residente na nakatira sa mga lugar na ito para na rin maiwasan ang mga aksidente na maaaring idulot ng mabilisang pagtaas man ng tubig kung magpapatuloy ang malalakas na ulan dito, dala na nga ng habagat. At ayon sa city government nito ay nakapagbigay na rin ito ng mga assistance, higit lalo sa mga mangingisda na apektado ng habagat na hindi ngayon makakapalaot dahil na nga sa masamang panahon.
Oo, Arles, may mga nabisita ka bang evacuation centers din? Kamusta naman yung pamamahagi ng mga relief packs?
Naging matagumpay Pauline ang distribution ng mga relief operation packages, kagaya na lamang doon sa Barangay Wawa dito sa District 1. Actually, may ilang mga pamilya doon na talaga ngayon ay nananatili sa mga tents, sa mga covered court. Pero ayon naman sa lungsod, patuloy pa rin ang kanilang operasyon para masiguro ang kaligtasan ng mga residente nito.
All right, thank you very much for that update and do stay safe. That was mobile journalist Arles de los Santos reporting live from Taguig. Now stay tuned because Morning Matters will be right back after this short break. Keep it here. Welcome back. You're still watching Morning Matters here on One News. Thanks for staying with us. Up to 100,000 undocumented Filipinos in the U.S. may face deportation under President Donald Trump's immigration crackdown. And that's according to Philippine Ambassador Jose Manuel Romualdez. Romualdez assured deportees will be sent directly to the Philippines and not to third countries. He urged those affected to seek legal help. President Marcos is set to meet Trump this week, but immigration will most likely not be on the agenda, as talks will focus on defense and U.S. tariffs. Meta has taken down Facebook pages of 20 influencers accused of promoting illegal online gambling. The move follows a request from the Cybercrime Investigation and Coordinating Center, or CICC, and digital advocacy group Digital Pinoys. They thanked Meta, saying the takedown reflects the platform's stance against unregulated gambling content. Some influencers ignored warnings from the CICC to stop gambling promotions by July 11. And those who failed to comply have been issued show cause orders and could face criminal charges as part of the ongoing crackdown. Several areas in Metro Manila experienced flooding due to rains brought by the southwest monsoon, or Habagat. Here's the report.
Non-stop rains over the weekend and into Monday, July 21, brought widespread flooding across Metro Manila. In parts of España Boulevard, roads were submerged with hardly any vehicles in sight. Students were forced to wade through dirty floodwaters after classes were suspended.
Sobrang hassle po kasi hindi lang baha yung traffic pa, tapos pagod rin po kasi pumasok pa po kami tapos uuwi lang ulit.
In Barangay Batasan Hills, Quezon City, a viral video showed a child being swept away by rushing floodwaters. His father jumped in, but was also dragged by the water.
Diyos ko, buti hindi siya lumusot dito sa pangalawa.
Thankfully, neighbors managed to rescue them both moments later.
Vlogger!
Flooding along Commonwealth Avenue reached knee level. One motorcycle tried to cross but stalled halfway.
Bulak!
At West Fairview High School, floodwaters reached the roof of the entrance gate. Nearby students were stranded along Dahlia Avenue, where the water had risen to waist level. On Monday night, the Marikina River reached third alarm status, with water levels breaching 18 meters due to continuous rain. Forced evacuations are now underway in affected communities.
Meanwhile, the Manila Electric Company, or Meralco, said that it is working to restore electricity in areas that experienced power interruptions due to heavy rains brought by the southwest monsoon. On Monday, Meralco reported that around 11,000 customers, or less than 1% of its total base, were affected by outages. Most of them were in Cavite, Bulacan, and Rizal, while the rest were spread across Metro Manila, Laguna, Batangas, and Quezon provinces. Meralco said field crews were actively deployed to speed up restoration, particularly in communities where floodwaters have started to recede. And now to talk more about the ongoing power restoration efforts of Meralco following days of heavy rains and flooding caused by the Habagat, we have Joe Zaldariaga, Meralco Vice President and Head of Corporate Communications. Hi, Joe. Good morning, and thanks for joining us.
Hi, Pauline, at good morning to all your viewers.
All right, Joe, well, give us the latest numbers. How many households are affected, and what is your estimated timeline for the full power restoration across your franchise area?
Well, unfortunately, the volume of customers affected by the enhanced southwest monsoon increased to 160,000 customers affected as of 7 this morning, and these are mostly in Metro Manila, Bulacan, Cavite, and Rizal. Primarily, the continuous rainfall brought by the Habagat resulted to areas that are now heavily flooded, and thus we had to temporarily shut down electric service in these flooded areas. Here in Metro Manila, mostly are in Valenzuela, and we continue to monitor the situation on the ground. For those who would like to call our attention on areas that are still flooded, they may do so by calling us at our hotline at 16211. They can also send their messages to our social media pages on Facebook and on X, or formerly Twitter, at Meralco.
Well, Joe, just taking a look at Twitter or X, there are customers of Meralco who reported having no power for almost 10 hours already in areas like San Juan, Manila, Barangay Tatalon, and Barangay Del Monte, Quezon City. So what is your timeline in terms of restoring full power in those areas?
Well, we will wait for floodwaters to subside, and we really cannot restore electricity, as this may pose grave danger to those living in the areas, especially in communities that are currently experiencing high floodwaters.
So was there any major damage recorded as well in power lines?
There were a few damaged facilities, but most of this really, Pauline, are areas that are affected by floodwaters.
Okay, but Joe, aside from receding floodwaters, what would you say is the biggest challenge or obstacles that your linemen are currently facing in Meralco in terms of restoring ground power? And are there any areas that would be difficult for you to access?
Well, the primary challenge really is the floodwaters affecting many of these areas that currently don't have power. As long as the floodwater recedes or goes down to the level that we can already work, then that will necessitate us from proceeding with the restoration efforts. But as of now, if the waters in these areas are still high, then unfortunately we'll need it to recede first before we are able to fully operationalize our restoration efforts.
And how will you prioritize, Joe, these areas that need restoration? Are critical facilities such as hospitals, water pumping stations, will they be prioritized?
Definitely. We have a protocol in terms of the restoration efforts that we undertake, and every year, every time we experience this kind of a situation, primary consideration as far as Meralco is concerned are the critical areas such as hospitals and the like.
Well, Joe, given that severe weather is a recurrent phenomenon in the Philippines, I mean, it's only July and this is just the third weather disturbance we're seeing, and Habagat continues to persist. What investments has Meralco made in terms of strengthening your power lines and maybe some of the technologies that you have tapped in order to make the grid more resilient to storms and floods?
Well, we continuously invest in storm hardening initiatives as far as our facilities are concerned. We are closely, and we've said this publicly, looking into automation or advanced metering infrastructure as part of our initiative to ensure that we will be able to continuously operate under this new normal situation. As far as the storm hardening is concerned, this has been an ongoing investment over the past few years, and we will continuously do so. This is primarily done in order to face the challenges of the future, particularly the new normal we are experiencing right now, as far as the weather conditions have changed over the years as well.
Well, Joe, for this month of July, electricity rates have gone up. Is there a way to keep charges more stable in the coming months, especially since a lot of households will be recovering from the Habagat?
Well, we are primarily dependent on the generation cost, and it's very hard to say what the rates will be moving forward. And the primary driver of the generation cost are the fuel costs that the generating plants consume, plus the other factors in place such as dispatch of the plants and many other factors, and one of which as well is the foreign exchange or the peso vis-a-vis the US dollar. As we have explained in the past, the power plants are very dependent on dollar-denominated operational cost. That's why this also impacts. And at the same time, we also have to look into what the prices will be in the wholesale electricity spot market or WESM. This, on the other hand, depends on the demand and supply play. So there are just too many factors to look into.
Of course.
And it's so hard to determine yet, Pauline, based on your question, or if we can put it down. It will really depend on several factors.
All right. Well, I'm sure, though, that those who experienced several power outages or interruptions will want more clarity when it comes to their bill, and I'm sure that Meralco will be providing that. But finally, Joe, what specific precautions or advice would you give some residents and the customers of Meralco in areas where power hasn't been restored yet?
Well, we just want to continuously provide them with safety and precautionary messages and tips. Make sure that once floodwaters are already rising in your own home, please make sure that the main circuit breaker is on off. Make sure that you are your hands and even your feet are dry. You need to use probably gloves if you need to go around. And please don't wade with floodwaters without using rubber boots. Make sure that all the appliances are safely, if you have a second floor, brought up in the second floor. If you don't have a second floor, at least they're elevated away from the floodwaters. Because at this point, Pauline, we have to assess what the situation is in our own homes, especially for those in the flooded areas. I have seen on TV most of these houses, I think, their first-level floors are already inundated in floodwaters. And so I am assuming most of those who are affected have already put their appliances in safety.
Well, we appreciate those reminders, and thank you for your time and for joining us this morning. That was Meralco Vice President and Head of Corporate Communications, Joe Zadalia-Yaga. Thanks, Joe. Don't go away. We still have more matters to discuss right after this break. Keep it here on One News. Welcome back. You're still watching Morning Matters here on One News. Now, at this point, let's check on the situation in Manila. Mobile journalist Marimon Reyes joins us live on the ground. Hi, Marimon. Baha pa rin ba dyan sa Maynila?
Pauline, tama yan. Magandang umaga sa iyo. Pero para sa mga kapatid natin na nandito na nanatili pa rin stranded o na umaabang kung may papapasukan sila o masasakyan sila, tulad kagabi, abot tuhod pa rin ang kahabaan at ilang bahagi ng Espanya Boulevard. Halimbawa dito, kahit pa paano, lagpas gutter deep pa lang naman yung taas ng tubig baha. Pero inaasahan natin at nananatili tayong red rainfall warning sa Metro Manila. Tuloy-tuloy pa rin sa loob ng mga susunod na 12 oras. Tuloy-tuloy pa rin ang pagbuhos ng ulan. Ang mga dumadaan pa dito, kaya pa naman, even ang mga motor, ang mga jeep, bumabiyahe pa dito, mga bus, even ang mga truck northbound and southbound. Yun nga lang, may mga ilang lugar, halimbawa sa Espanya Corner de la Puente, Antipolo, even doon sa Lacson, kailangan itong ating mga kapatid na motorista alamin muna yung iba pang alternative na ruta dahil lalong-lalo na sa De La Puente, hindi ito passable ng light vehicles. Pero pagdating naman sa mga PUV natin, so far tuloy-tuloy pa rin naman ang kanilang pagbiyahe. Wala pa namang abiso ang otoridad maging ang mula sa LRT at MRT kung meron bang pagtigil sa kanilang mga pasada. Suspendido na rin ang pasok sa lahat ng antas ng paaralan, pati sa mga government offices. Inanunsyo yan at idineklara yan ni Manila Mayor Isko Moreno kahapon. Kasunod din yan ay isinara kagabi ang northbound at southbound na linya mula doon sa UN Taft Avenue hanggang sa may Nakpil para doon sa pagbubukas at declogging ng manhole maging sa drainages ng sa iba't ibang bahagi pa ng Maynila. Pero titingnan pa natin sa mga susunod na oras, wala pa kasing naitatala na flood-related incidents dito sa Maynila, pero nananatiling nakaantabay ang Manila DRM o kung sakaling araw na magkakaroon pa ng problema o aberya sa daan. Pauline.
Marymon, marami ba ang kinailangang mag-evacuate dyan sa Maynila at may mga nabisita ka bang evacuation centers? Kamusta naman yung sitwasyon doon?
Pauline, kagabi hanggang ngayon, ang pinakamaraming naobserbahan natin ay tila mga stranded. Kagabi stranded sila dahil wala na raw silang naabutan na public utility vehicles. Yung iba sa mga ito ay mga nagtatrabaho at yung ilan ay mga estudyante na dahil nagkaroon daw para sa kanila ng late ng pag-suspend ng klase o kaya naman ng pasok, nahirapan na raw silang makauwi. Kaya yung mga nakausap natin kagabi, naglalakad na lang sila, nakikisakay sila ng bangka. Yung mga kapatid nating may dalang motor, isilasakay na nila ng bangka para hindi na malulubog sa baha. Same din dito sa mga nakasalubong natin sa Espanya. May nakausap tayo kanina, isa siyang nurse at may clinic sana siya sa Malate. Pero nakapunta na siya ng Malate, sinuong niya raw itong baha kaso biglaan nga nagkaroon ng suspension. Dahil ngayon kinailangan niya na lang na bumalik pa. Pero laking pasasalamat niya na lang daw na may nasakyan pa siyang bus pabalik dito sa may Kamaynilaan, kaya okay naman daw sa kanya. Pagdating naman sa mga evacuation centers dito, may nakita tayo around Sampaloc na ilang mga tent lang pero hindi naman siya nagsisilbi pang evacuation centers. Nakaset up yung mga ito para raw kung sakali man na mayroong mga magiging stranded daw na mga residente o even non-Manila residents, maaari naman daw silang sumilong sa mga iyon. Ang nakausap din natin yung ilang mga barangay official, sila rin naman daw nakaantabay din ngayon at kung sakaling tataas pa ito, tulad kagabi, nakakailanganin ng bangka, anytime naman daw ilalabas nila ang mga ito. Pauline.
Oo, Marymon, naalala ko last year, dyan ka rin nag-cover, nag-report ka nung bagyo dyan sa Maynila. Pareho ba yung taas ng baha, ng tubig o mas malala ba o mas kamusta din yung mga basura dyan?
Pauline, kaya doon si Bagyong Karina yun, yung last time na nandito ako, naabot hanggang Bewang. Pero kung titingnan ninyo, so far dito, pag nakatungtong ako sa gutter, wala pa siya, lagpas lang siya ng aking talampakan. Pero pag lumubog ka, bahagya, ganyan na ang taas ng tubig baha dito, hindi pa naman siya abot ng tuhod. Compared last time na abot hanggang Bewang na. Yun nga lang sa ilang mga bahagi, halimbawa sa may Earnshaw, dito sa may Cayco Street, at yung iba pang bahagi naman ng U-Belt, wala man tayong nakita na humupa na ang tubig baha, pero ang nagsilutangan naman ay mga basura. Pero nakita rin natin kanina na tuloy-tuloy naman yung paglilinis ng mga waste collector, even ng mga volunteer ng barangay, maging ng ilang mga residente na inanod yung mga basura sa harapan ng kanilang mga tirahan. Pauline.
Nako, para dyan sa mga umaano sa tubig baha, dapat mag-take din ng mga nararapat na gamot, yung doxycycline para maiwasan na yung leptospirosis. Kasama ka na dyan, Marymon. Mag-ingat ka dyan. Maraming salamat para sa update. I was mobile journalist Marymon Reyes. And that wraps up today's episode of Morning Matters. We hope we've given you just the right start to your morning. Let's make the day matter. I'm Pauline Verzosa, sitting in for Gretchen Ho. We are One News, all sides, all the time.